Okay, so a ship is sinking, not a little fishing boat, not a wooden sailboat in a movie, a real commercial ship, a cargo ship carrying containers, fuel, crew, contracts, insurance, and waiting customers. At first, it looks like a disaster where everyone loses. The ship owner loses the ship. The cargo owners lose their goods. The crew is in danger. The coast may face pollution. The port may be blocked. And somewhere, a company is explaining why 10,000 containers are not arriving on time. But here is the strange part. The moment a ship begins to sink, an entire economy wakes up. Tugboats start moving. Salvage companies start calculating. Divers get called. Marine surveyors open their laptops. Lawyers begin reading contracts. Insurers start reserving money. Cleanup crews prepare equipment. Ports, governments, shipyards, scrap dealers, cargo insurers, and adjusters all enter the story. Because a sinking ship is not just a sinking ship. It is a floating pile of money, liability, danger, and paperwork. And the people who make money from it are not always the people you expect. More than 80% of global trade by volume moves by sea. So one major maritime accident can turn a shipping route into a financial crime scene, an environmental emergency, and a legal puzzle. So the question is not simply who loses when a ship sinks. The better question is who gets paid? And the answer begins before the ship is even underwater. Imagine a container ship crossing a busy shipping lane at night. It has already left port. The cargo is stacked high above the deck. The fuel tanks are full enough for the voyage. The crew is following a route planned days earlier, and on paper, everything looks ordinary. Then something changes. Maybe the engine loses power. Maybe the ship grounds on a reef. Maybe a fire starts in the cargo. Maybe a storm pushes the vessel toward rock. Maybe the ship hits another vessel. Or maybe water enters through a damaged hull faster than the pumps can remove it. In the first few minutes, nobody is thinking about profit. They are thinking about life. The crew has to be protected. The ship's position has to be reported. Nearby vessels may be asked to assist. Coast guards or maritime authorities may coordinate rescue. And if the situation is severe, the ship's master may send out a distress call. This is the part of the story everyone understands. But at the same time, another clock starts ticking, because every hour changes the money. A ship that is still floating can be saved. A ship that is drifting can be towed. A ship stuck on a sandbank may be refloated. A ship on rocks may still have cargo worth saving. But a ship that breaks apart becomes a different kind of bill. A ship that burns becomes a different kind of bill. A ship that sinks in deep water becomes a different kind of bill. And a ship that leaks fuel near the coast becomes a bill that can spread for miles. The first business to enter the story is usually not the company that removes the wreck. It is the company that prevents the wreck from getting worse. That can mean emergency tugboats. It can mean salvage master. It can mean pumps, portable generators, and firefighting teams. It can mean diving contractors, naval architects, spill response crews, and surveyors. The job is not glamorous. Nobody is opening a treasure chest. The first goal is simple. Keep the ship from sinking deeper. Keep it from drifting into something worse. Keep oil out of the water. Keep the crew alive. And keep the owner, insurer, and cargo interests from losing everything. This is the first big reveal. A salvage company is not really paid because a ship sank. It is paid because the ship has not yet become as bad as it could be. In ordinary life, you usually negotiate the price first. But when a ship is in danger, there may not be time for normal negotiation. The weather is changing, the hull is damaged, the vessel is moving, oil may be leaking, a port may be blocked, and every delay can turn a salvage job into a wreck removal job. That is why maritime salvage has its own world of contract. One of the most famous is Lloyd's Open Form. It is built around the old idea of no cure, no pay. If the salver creates no useful result, the traditional reward may disappear. If valuable property is saved, payment is usually decided afterward. That payment can depend on the value saved, the danger involved, the skill required, the time spent, and the risk taken. This makes salvage very different from normal towing. A tugboat towing a healthy ship sells a service. A salver approaching a burning or sinking ship takes a gamble. If the operation works, the reward can be large. If it fails, The ocean does not care about invoices. So the salvor is not just selling muscle. The salvor is selling speed, expertise, and risk. And risk is expensive. Now zoom out from the deck of the ship. Because the ship itself is not one financial object. There is the hull, there is the machinery, there is the fuel, there is the cargo. There are containers owned by leasing companies. There may be refrigerated cargo using power. There may be dangerous goods. There are port fees, charter agreements, crew contracts, and insurance policies. The person who owns the ship may not operate it. The company painted on the containers may not own the ship. The cargo inside one container may belong to a retailer. The container itself may belong to a leasing company. The freight forwarder may have arranged the shipment, and the customer waiting for the goods may know none of this. This is why a ship casualty becomes so complicated. One container may hold shoes, another may hold medical equipment, another may hold parts needed to keep a factory open, another may hold batteries that become dangerous if water reaches them. Each one may have its own insurer, contract, and claim. So when the vessel gets into trouble, the money chain splits into many branches. The hull insurer looks at the ship. The cargo insurers look at the goods. The P&I insurer looks at liability. The authorities look at pollution and navigation risk, and lawyers look at contracts to decide who ultimately pays. A normal voyage is supposed to be boring. A sinking ship is billable chaos. The next major player is the ship's liability insurer. In shipping, this often means protection and indemnity insurance. P&I clubs cover liabilities that normal hull insurance may not handle. That can include injury, cargo claim, pollution, collision liability, property damage, and wreck removal. This matters because the owner may not only lose the ship, the owner may become responsible for the mess the ship creates. If the wreck blocks a shipping channel, someone has to remove it. If fuel leaks into the water, someone has to clean it. If cargo floats onto beaches, someone has to handle it. If fishermen lose income, more claims may appear. This is the second big reveal. The biggest bill after a ship sinks may not be the ship. It may be the responsibility left behind. Now let's talk about the wreck itself, because the ocean is not free storage. You cannot always sink a ship and walk away. If the wreck is far away, deep, and harmless, it may remain there. But near a coast, harbor, reef, or shipping lane, the answer changes. Authorities may order the owner to remove it. This is where wreck removal enters. Emergency salvage asks, can we save the ship? Wreck removal asks, how do we remove a dead object from a place where it cannot stay? A floating ship can sometimes be towed. A grounded ship can sometimes be refloated. But a broken wreck may need to be cut apart, lifted by cranes, stabilized with cable, pumped full of air, or removed piece by piece over months. The more visible and dangerous the wreck is, the less freedom the owner has to choose the cheap solution. That is the hidden business of a sinking ship. Money flows to whoever can make the disaster less expensive than it is about to become.